Good morning, welcome to NMS. We are going to talk today about whether free weights are better than machines or vice versa. And we're going to do this because a lot of people discuss free weights and machines, and you have these people that say free weights are better, and you have people say machines are better. I'm personally in the middle. I'll use whatever works best for me, and obviously from many years of experience I'm going to sort of go, well, I like this movement for this type of exercise, but sometimes I find a machine that may do something similar and I like the machine, so I'm going to go and be a little bit more versatile. What are free weights? Barbells, dumbbells, bodyweight exercises, kettlebells, sandbags, or anything that is not obviously fixed to the ground or to a cable is a free weight. So what are machines? So you got your cable stacks that you can do all your different push downs, pull downs, so forth. You've got cable single movement machines, they're pull downs, seated rows. Unlike a cable stack, obviously it's a single movement machine and it's like aligned so that it can move in a certain pattern, okay? Whereas cable stacks, they're adjustable and you're able to move them in different ways, okay? And adjust it whether you want to do push downs or so forth. Fixed movement machines, that's like a Smith machine, so you can put a bench under it, you can do squats and everything. They can be quite versatile, but they're a fixed range of movement, okay? So it's only going up and down, okay? Single movement machines, these are leg extensions, leg curls, bicep curls, leg presses, or any movement that's just made for a fixed movement pattern for one muscle group, okay? So generally, they don't have a lot of versatility, they don't have a lot of adjustability, they're generally made to go and do one movement. So how do we assess effectiveness? Versatility and adjustability. Now dumbbells are very versatile, and you can adjust the movement pattern to obviously your height and the length of your limbs. So dumbbells, barbells are very adjustable as well. You can do different grips, different widths and stuff like that. So they're obviously very versatile, whereas machines can sometimes be, they can lack versatility and adjustability. So generally on that sense, barbells win on that one, dumbbells win on that one, okay? Stability of the movement, okay? So obviously barbells and dumbbells are not as stable, so you have to create that stability through your stabilizing muscles and through skill. Now that's going to be very hard for a beginner. So the beginning of, let's say, someone's lifting journey, they will want to have something a bit more stable. Machines can be very effective for teaching this. Effectiveness for different heights and body proportions. Barbells and dumbbells are very effective for people of different heights and proportions, whereas machines, sometimes the adjustability of it, especially lat pull downs, can be a problem. Seated rows can be a problem because if someone's got very long arms, they can't get a full range of motion, okay? And sometimes on different machines, it's hard to adjust the seat up or down, or the length of the leg, or maybe the length of the lower leg, in order to go and make the machine work for the person, okay? So sometimes the effectiveness for different heights can be a problem with some machines, especially if you've got a really tall person, a really short person, or you've got people with, obviously, that might be quite large. It's very hard for them to actually fit in the machine. The amount of load on the machine, this can be a problem. I sometimes find with machines, I don't use them because I've gotten quite strong over the years, and I find that sometimes the amount of load on some machines is not enough. So I don't do it because I just don't find that, you know, I want to get outside the sort of 5 to 15 rep range that I like to sit in. And some machines, you know, you're doing the stack for a lot of reps and it just seems pointless. People go and try and fix this problem by stacking more weights onto the machine, but personally for me, I don't like to do that. I like to look after the machine as well. I don't want to be going and putting a lot more undue stress on the cable, so I don't do that sort of thing. So I'll use a free weight equivalent if I have to. Load profile of the machine. Now obviously free weights, if it's moving up and down, you know, sometimes the squat is the hardest on the bottom, which is good because that's actually the position of greatest load and greatest tension on the muscle. But some machines don't have that. For example, sometimes when curls with dumbbells or lateral raises, there isn't as much tension in the bottom of the machine, whereas machines can create more load in the top of in the stretch position of the profile. Tricep push downs is a very good example of this. Lat pull downs the same. And also the fact that with some machines, maybe you can't do the body weight equivalent because you're not strong enough. The machine can help you to do that. Safety on joints. Look, barbells and dumbbells can be quite safe on the joints if you learn how to do them. Obviously, getting them into position can sometimes be tough on the joints, so we've got to be really careful of that. But sometimes the safety on the joints of a machine, if the machine doesn't work in the right sort of range for the actual joint, it can put excessive load. For me, sometimes shoulder press machines can be like that, or sometimes I find that certain machines, just the way they move, chest machines, sometimes you just can't get them to move in the right range where it moves in the arc of the motion of the actual press. Okay, so this is important. Sometimes the machine may not work for certain individuals, it works for others. So saying to someone this is better for you than this exercise always comes down to individual limb lengths, heights, and so forth. Now, preference. Sometimes you like the machine version, sometimes you like the dumbbell or barbell version. Personally, for some exercises, I do like a dumbbell version, but I'm also caught out in some gyms where I do love a dumbbell row, but I find that, the gym is limited by the amount of weight that you can do on a dumbbell row, in which case, to get the overload, sometimes I find that difficult, and sometimes a machine can be better for that because, it just the mere fact that you can do more weight on the machine, you've got that ability to continue to progressively increase your resistance. So sometimes a preference, I like pull-ups, but sometimes loading a lot of weight on your pull-up can be really annoying, just getting into position and that weight sitting between your legs. So sometimes on that, maybe you prefer pull-ups, but maybe you get really strong for pull-ups and the amount of weight that you have to load on there can make a difference. Dips can be the same for that, but sometimes, you might feel a machine better than a free weight. Okay, and if you do that, I say use the machine. All right, so basically to conclude on this, guys, you've got to obviously take into account the fact that machines can be very versatile, but free weights are the most versatile. You've got to take into effect that the stability can be there for machines, but free weights, you build the stability into the movement over time with the amount of skill that you have with that movement. Okay, but you can adjust obviously free weights to work better for you over time, whereas machines, maybe that adjustment is not there. Okay, personally for me, guys, if I'm doing a lot of back movements, I like cables. I also like free weights. Okay, triceps and biceps, most of my bicep movements are free weight, but some of my tricep movements are cables. I don't like cable lateral raise, but I do like a good lateral raise machine. I don't like shoulder presses all the time, but I do like a free weight movement. Chest, I do a combination of machines and free weights. Legs, definitely there's good alternatives to free weights with machines, and especially exercises like leg extension. Obviously it's very hard to do that on any sort of free weight equivalent. So you've got to use a little bit like common sense with this, as well as like learning what machines and free weights can be best for you. All right, don't limit yourself to thinking that one is better than the other. Always try to think what will be better for me in terms of my strength, in terms of the length of my limbs, in terms of versatility, in terms of whether I'm a beginner, intermediate, advanced, and in terms of how good I am at doing a particular movement and whether that movement is actually suitable for what my goals are. Okay, you don't have to be limited, guys. You don't have to do one or the other. Now I'm going to talk through different body parts in other videos, and I'm going to make those videos so that I discuss what I think is better for different body parts, but I'm also going to discuss it from my perspective as well as from people that maybe have different heights and limb lengths than I do. Okay, so thanks for listening. Comment below. I know there's going to be some comments that people say machines are better, free weights are better, and I hope there's some common sense comments in there that sort of, think about the whole, what can be better for what different situations. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I want to get more feedback from this from a lot of different people. Don't just watch it and go, oh, I couldn't be bothered commenting. Comment. If there's any rude comments, obviously I'll back you up if I think that maybe you have a point.